Bum, bum, bum. Okay. All right, we're live. And in the meantime, I did figure out how to make it so that it's just your screen being shown.
Oh, okay.
So there's that. And my messages is freezing. Go figure. So, we were looking at your press kit. It's really nice. Like really, really nice.
Thank you.
If
Pretty.
let's see,
Now I
Foursquare.
need to pay for that. Pay for the creation of that.
Pay for the creation of what?
Some sponsors
Oh.
of my press kit. I mean, you know.
Oh, there you are, Mark. All right. So, we were talking about press kits and looking at this really awesome one. Okay. So, this this is really nice and well formatted. Wouldn't you agree, Mark?
Absolutely.
How did you arrive at these prices, though?
Well, some of them are from other podcast media kits, but I am a voiceover talent, and I know what I get paid. I'm a SAG talent, so I know what I get paid. So, means I don't know.
Okay, I have a totally unrelated question.
Go ahead.
Because you're SAG, does that not include does SAG not cover podcasts?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those new media things, I think, that hasn't been looked at yet. Someday they'll probably try to tell me I can't do it. So,
Because I'm about to start something where I'm going to need a bunch of voice actors, and I need to like that's something as a bridge I need to cross because some of the voice actors I want to go after, excuse me, are SAG, and they didn't like they're like, oh, we'll try to find out, and then no one ever got back to me.
yeah, I don't know. I don't want to know. I mean, I think I don't think there's anything that I'm doing right now. I mean, until I cross over into actually doing commercials, podcasting is kind of a whole separate category, as far as I know.
Hmm,
So,
interesting. So,
it's a good question. We should probably look into that.
yeah, if you could look into that and let me know what the answer is that, because in the next like couple weeks to a month or two, I'm gonna be actively looking for voice actors for this project I'm working on. So
Okay.
might be hitting you up.
I know a lot of good ones, so.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking for a lot, like a whole bunch of different. Well, we can talk about that later. It's a pretty
Okay.
big to do. So, anyway, I think if you're basing that based on what you know that you should get paid, but I mean the only thing is you were saying you get what like 400 downloads per episode.
Supposedly, according to my Google Analytics, yeah. He said it was Podcaster. Wait a minute, It was Google. Must have been the podcast. Oh shoot, I just had that up.
Are you against, going
Pod,
with a Libsyn or a Blueberry because, it would take away the guess and, why guess if you don't have to, you know what I mean?
so what would that require, though? Would that require me moving my podcast to a different?
No. Well, with Blueberry it wouldn't, though Nick uh Jelson was just saying that he does not apparently use Blueberry or PowerPress, and that we should apparently move away, or I guess I should move away from it, which I guess I'll be talking to him later about. I'm not sure why. But I mean, I've only been using it. I mean, I've been using it since the beginning because it was recommended to me from somebody who gets a ton of downloads per episode. Like a lot. Like he has a really huge following, which it's awesome that he was able to help me out when I got started. But I don't know. I mean, I guess it really is. It comes down to whatever someone's willing to pay. Right. And to me, it's not about downloads. Like I was talking actually to Nick about this earlier today, and it's going to be on an upcoming episode, which is it's actually for podcasters. This episode is going to be really great to listen to, but it's all about how many listeners are going to do an actionable thing.
Right.
It's not like who cares if you have 100,000 people, but only like 0.1% of that does anything with what you're saying to go do. You have to ask yourself, is it really that good of an audience?
Right.
Just like terrestrial radio, they have like 100,000 people are listening at any given moment, but how many people are actually listening? Or you could say like a show like The View or something that comes on like midday and is on every single TV in every doctor's office from here all the way to California, but how many people are actually watching it? So that's the thing. And I think that there's something to be said for that. I mean, compared to like what I was proposed a sponsorship, which is what I was like, oh man, we should jump on and see how many people we can get in this Google Hangout and go from there. He was like, well, I'll provide the advertisement and like a audio file, and you guys can hold on a second. Somebody just sent me a message. Let me stop this. It looks like we're gonna have someone else join us in a minute here. And he was like, well, I'm sponsoring another friend's show at $5 an episode. For like 25 episodes, and I'm like, oh wow, well, I mean that's not bad, but I do it 3 days a week, so for 3 days a week times 25, that'd be a whole lot. But when I listen to the ad, there's no like, hey, go back to mywebsite.com/dreamers or anything like that to know like, hey, this stuff came from Joe's podcast. There's no way to know any of that stuff.
Right. Yeah, you have to give a code or something so that they can know how that they came from your podcast.
Exactly, and that's really important, I think. And it's not just for him, but to know if it's working. But because he's like, well, I really don't care. He's like, I believe it's gonna work, and da da da. But I'm like, but I want to know if it's gonna work.
Well, yeah, you want to know because it gives you more power too, because you can say, listen, I've given you all this traffic, all these sales, I'd like a bigger cut.
Or to go to someone else and have like an example, to be like, hey, I already did this, and this is what we were able to accomplish with it. So let's cut a bigger and better deal. Welcome to the group, Brett. Oh, he's muted. Why is he? Yeah, you gotta unmute yourself. Anyway, I guess when he unmutes himself, we'll get him in there. But it's so it's on a lot of different levels. Plus the fact that it's a pre-recorded message that I'm not participating in, so it's not my word or anything like that. And I believe in I believe that the product probably works because I know the person. I'm friends with him, and we go back a long way. And he actually figured it out himself. Like he lost over 200 pounds. So eventually he found his way to becoming a health coach, and now he's set up like this whole product and stuff like that to help people, lose weight as well. So, but to me, it's like, man, $5 is it's not that I care that $5 is a little bit of money. It's that all those other problems I have a problem with,
Yeah.
To me, it's not. It's not. It's setting it up to fail, and that's really pretty big problem. But so what? I mean, Connie, what was your sponsor, your potential sponsors, reaction to your media kit?
Off of what he was, it was doable. I mean, I got a good response, so.
Wow.
But then he threw out 500,000 total downloads, and I'm like, I don't think I have that many. He goes, you might be surprised, but.
Well, how many episodes do you have?
I have 106.
So let's see. Well, I mean, if you just times 400 times 100, that's not bad.
Well, that's true if I'm averaging.
I mean, that's 40,000 downloads.
Yeah, 40,000 plus. Yeah.
And
that's not 500.
You really. No, I know.
When you said 500, I'm like, oh, I'm never going to get this. I went to that dark place, but yeah, I mean, I think I don't know.
Here's the question, right? Does he know that about Twitter bombing?
He probably does. I had never heard of it until you mentioned it, but.
Oh. So, I mean, basically what you're doing is you're hyper-inflating your numbers by tweeting out lots of tweets with direct links to your content. So every time a bot clicks on that link, it's counting it, right, as of today, it's counting as a download. So some people go around and they say, I have 500,000 downloads a month. I have 1 million downloads. Not that every single one of them's lying, but it's when I look at other people who I know aren't doing it, I find, and how successful those people are, I find it hard to believe that some of these other ones, are that they're doing it that they're not doing it. So I guess, well, I confused myself, but that they're hyper-inflating their numbers.
Oh, my son won! Woo! We won! Sorry.
Congratulations.
All right.
Woo! Sorry. I'm just very excited. He's wrestled. He got hurt and he hasn't wrestled in a while, so I'm really happy. So anyway, go ahead. So exciting.
So yeah, it's a pretty big deal, and I can actually, if you click on the chat window, I'll give you a link to an article I wrote about my experience with it. Remember I was showing you my stats and how they dropped off because I had a link stop.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a pretty long read, but basically it's, especially if you're using it for sponsorship reasons, it's really like dicey water in my opinion, because you're kind of like lying that you're getting all these downloads, or that you have all these listeners.
I'm not smart enough to do any of that stuff, so
it's a lot of work. It's a science. I mean, it's not something you could just be like on a weekend, like, oh, I'm just gonna start doing this, and come Monday, I'm gonna have millions of downloads. It's a science.
I mean, I post my podcast on Facebook, and I pin it, and I tweet it once, and I do everything probably most people do, and then I go about my business. So.
Well, that's pretty good. If you're only tweeting once, I mean, you have a pretty good. I mean, you've also been doing it for 2 years.
Yeah.
So you have a pretty good base there. If you're only tweeting each episode one time.
I guess maybe I do, but when he said 500,000, I know
it makes you feel like
I'm fixated on that one number. So
that big, right?
Yeah. 500,000.
Have you done any actionable things in your podcast?
Like,
Like, hey, go write me a rating and review on iTunes, or go and sign up for my email list or something to that effect.
no, I really haven't. I have been just focusing on building that audience, and I had a sponsor who gave me a code, so I had people potentially buying things from a sponsor.
Did they?
And it was early on, and I don't know. I don't know how much response he got. But I'll tell you what, people get response from my podcast. I interviewed a chiropractor, and he called me and said, I got 3 new clients within 3 days. So he was super happy. So, yeah.
Wow, that's surprising. Mark, is your heating and air conditioning, that's gonna be the first time you've done anything like that?
Yeah.
As far as actionable things go, like, how about in your podcast?
I mean, it's the first for anything as far as someone else that wants to partner up and do a sponsorship.
How about for you? Have you asked anybody to like go and give you a rating and review or anything like that? That they went actually people responded and did those things?
No, I've not. I haven't given any call to action as far as anything where I can track it. But I guess I'm not upset at myself that I haven't, just because there's been a lull since the last time I did a podcast episode. But I know going forward there's going to be some type of message that I want to, whether it's leave a review or whatever. But I do want to see if I can get my audience to do something.
It's it's really freaking tough. Was that your son texting you?
That's my husband.
Oh.
I won't tell you what he said. He's so excited. He's like, oh, forget it. I won't tell you. But he's very excited.
So, it's very difficult to get people to do something. I've had all kinds of things where I've run on several episodes in a row asking for asking for things to be done, or people to do something, and I've gotten a little bit of response, but it's from people that I know, but the reason I know them is because of the podcast. So it all kind of feeds into each other, but it's really tough to get somebody to do anything that you're asking. I thought it was gonna be a lot easier, honestly.
Yeah.
For me, if they keep listening, I'm happy with that.
I'm sorry, what were you gonna say, Connie?
It should be easy. I mean, when you think about advertising, I've done a lot of commercials, and people respond to commercials on TV and on the radio, and you would think you have a captivated audience as podcasts because we're targeting, but I don't know. Maybe we got to do a better job of.
I don't know. It's definitely yeah, you would think so, right? Because it's like, oh, drink Coca-Cola, and then people will go out and they buy Coca-Cola, but not everyone's like that. Some people are just like, oh, what's on sale this week? Let me get that, and they'll flip back and forth. Welcome, Brett.
Thanks. I had to swap computers and get to one that I could get a mic into.
Oh, no problem, man. Welcome to the chat. We got Mark and Connie on.
Fantastic.
How's it going?
Congratulations, Connie.
On my son?
Yes.
Oh gosh. Anyway.
What's your podcast about, Brett?
My wife and I have a podcast. It's called Fortunes and Family. We've got 2 different shows inside that. One's called Marriage Worth Millions, and then I do an individual show called From Barriers to Breakthroughs. And the main premise is, so Marriage is Worth Millions. We're both licensed therapists and longtime entrepreneurs, and we've started to see a real issue within the entrepreneurial world, that being divorce or incredibly strained marriages. And so we've kind of jumped on board and said, we have all these skills. We've got over 20 years of marriage together, and we've fought these battles, entrepreneurialism and that. So let's take it out to everybody. So that's the main premise of that, is how do you succeed and actually build a fortune and a family at the same time. And then my show.
Oh no.
Uh,
Oh, there he is.
Was I gone?
Yeah, you paused for a little bit.
Oh man. So that's what my wife and I do. And then my show, From Barriers to Breakthroughs, I focus on the self-limiting mindset issues that the majority of entrepreneurs at one point or another get bound by, and how we can get through them.
Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like a micro coaching show, I guess, and my guests come on and kind of talking about what they've gone through, what they've how they pushed through it, and what their breakthroughs have been, and the tools and tips that they want to offer, and then I throw in my stuff.
How long have you been doing all those shows?
So, Fortunes and Families, just finally about 2.5 weeks ago, got everything situated with that. We've been running a local TV show for almost a year, and I was taking on a fairly haphazard basis about every other week. I'd get the weekly show, the audio pulled out, and I'd get it posted up. I was just using Spreaker at the time just to see kind of if there'd be interest, and I was trying to figure out the whole process. We finally felt like our message was good enough, or that we had enough stuff going on that we could take it out, and so we still do the TV show, and then my wife and I do an individual chat podcast without the TV show as well each week.
Oh wow.
Have you had sponsors, Brett?
Not yet. We just.
Legit.
Oh, there.
Oh, he's gone.
Ah.
Just when we were getting to the good stuff.
I know.
Well, it's a great conversation, Joe.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Yeah, we're trying here. So I'd like to think that getting people to do stuff comes with time, and comes with like how long you've been doing it and stuff like that. I mean, in your case, kind of, you've been doing it a lot longer than I have, and it's surprising that you weren't approached prior to have a sponsor.
Yeah, I was kind of putting it out there. I haven't really approached anyone else, and I was kind of saying, okay, I'm ready, and then it happened. So I think my Facebook. I've been building my Facebook numbers for what it's worth. My YouTube channel has close to 5,000 subscribers now. So
wow.
I think my numbers are starting to maybe look like something. So maybe that's it. Just took turning a page. I don't know what that page is necessarily, but I feel like maybe.
It's a lot of little pages. I mean, that's 5,000 subscribers on YouTube is nothing to sneeze at. That's quite a bit. How often do you release YouTube videos?
I don't know. For a while, I was trying to do one a month, but I haven't been able to keep up with it. But I have a few yoga videos that I produced. That I have one that has 500,000 hits, and so yeah.
Wow.
Yoga. I just made you yawn by saying the word yoga.
No.
Yoga.
No, man, DDP yoga, man. I do DDP yoga. It's awesome.
Mark, do you have a YouTube channel? You do, don't you?
Yeah, I do. What is it? YouTube.com/Orlando Mall Guide. Yeah.
And how well is that done for you?
I think I've got like just 7 subscribers, and I started off trying to do a weekly YouTube thing, and then I realized that wasn't, first of all, sustainable, and also I think worth anything. So what I decided to do instead was do when, for instance, the latest video was when Artagon Marketplace Orlando, which is a new place that opened up, the newest mall in Orlando. So I did the grand opening of that. That makes sense to cover. And I've been on our local Fox affiliate to represent Orlando Mall Guide, and I'll put those videos up on YouTube. So yeah, I'm kind of reevaluating how I want to go going forward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I
you've got
guess.
some great potential. Excuse me, sorry.
No, no, no. I was gonna say basically the same thing.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, that's what I would do. I'd be out there shooting video and kind of interviewing some of the stores that you like and getting them.
Yeah,
Getting
my
them-
real issue is that's kind of what I took January to do, which was create that editorial calendar and really try to carve out my schedule, break some habits, and really just treat it like a business, right? So because I do PR for I'm the spokesperson for the Orlando Science Center, which is our local science museum. So PR, it's very demanding. So it's very, very hard. And of course, I got a puppy and I've got a wife now. So it's just figuring out creating that new habit, those new habits and process. Yeah.
Now, Brett, before you got
Yeah.
kicked off, Connie was about to. I think it was Connie was about to ask you, or Mark was about to ask you, what kind of sponsorships have you had to date?
So far, we haven't had any. We're just getting that idea and kind of moving out to that direction. We have used, so up till now, our TV show was kind of our own sponsorship of our local counseling agency and the programs and stuff that we have available here. And we're using that kind of as an advertising platform to get the local folks aware of who we are and what we're doing. And so now, as we've shifted it to kind of a very broad, global platform with the podcasting and really kind of getting our message underneath us and getting some flow under us, we're going to start looking at really good partners and sponsor opportunities as we grow this thing out.
Now, what kind of numbers do you have with your shows?
Now, right now, as far as the podcast, it's really pretty slow. We've been up and alive for like 2 weeks, and we finished out January just under 100 views. But we're still, like I said, I'm still learning the thing and trying to figure it out. The promotion side of it is about to kick up, and I'll figure it out better, especially once I have a number of shows up there. So I'm really on the very early stages of this, but because I want to head into sponsors, I want to move that direction as we build it. I want to make sure I'm building it in such a way that will be alluring to that.
What kind of pricing do you have in mind going forward with your shows, as far as like sponsorships?
I really have no idea. I mean, I've seen what Dumas is saying with the those numbers, but those are the only real numbers that I've really ever seen. So I want to learn as much as I can. I need to figure out what the absolute best way to do it is. And so maybe now in the early stage, just go like a per show single price, and then transition as we get some numbers behind us to do more, cost per download kind of thing. So I'm not sure right now. I don't know what the window is and really what the opportunities are.
I mean, I think that I think we can all agree that affiliate within the show itself is not a way that any of us want to go, right?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mark doesn't look like he's agreeing.
No, I agree. I just wanted to think about yeah.
Like within the show, not like, because if you want to do something on your website, that's one thing, however many whatever you can capture. But from a in the show type of standpoint, the affiliates, like, I got to do all the work. I got to sprinkle it into my shows and do all that work, and it might not go anywhere. And yet they get they at least get their word out there, regardless of if anyone's actually going to buy or not. And I get stuck with nothing.
Well, I find them distracting, to tell you the truth. The ones that do that. I mean, tons of them up front, or then this, big break in the middle. Especially if it's a short show, I find them somewhat distracting. And unless they're done well, if you can weave them into the conversation so that it makes sense, well, that's a hard craft, and not everybody can do it well.
It definitely is hard. I mean, I really, really love what Alex Bloomberg has done with Startup. I don't know, have any of you guys listened to Startup?
I've heard him, yes.
How about you, Connie?
I haven't. No.
So if you listen to Startup, he actually does like interviews with the people that work at these companies that are sponsoring him. When he said how much he was getting for a sponsorship, I don't know. Did you pick up on that, Brett?
No, in the show that I listened to, he didn't talk about dollars on it.
$6,000 per episode.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
I was walking around New York listening to every, because by the time I had picked up on the show, it was like episode 6 or 5 or 6 or something like that, and I just listened to it while I was walking from like 14th Street all the way up to 96th Street, and I nearly fell over into the street because I was just like, whoa. So I was like, dude, that's all I'd be doing. Like, screw the rest of this. I'll just make podcasts every day.
Yeah.
He collects my $6,000, and I'll do it 7 days a week. I'll be able to retire by the end of the year.
Now this guy's obviously got a huge following, right? I mean, he's got to have a lot of downloads.
Yeah.
Well, he came out of Planet Money, and he's done some other American Public Media and NPR stuff.
Yeah, so he's definitely like, but I wonder if some of these other guys are getting that much money, like Adam Carolla or anybody else who has of note name, and because I mean that's just ridiculous. Of course, this was supposed to be a very specific podcast, and he didn't really get a lot of attention until he actually launched it. Because he even said in one of the episodes early on, like, all these people would not get back to him until all of a sudden he got money and the first episode came out. And then all of a sudden everyone who wouldn't respond to his emails and phone calls started calling him. And because it's that good. I mean, it's really, really good. And I like the idea of doing it as not just as an ad read, but like he'll talk to like the HR person at MailChimp and have like a joke or two or something like that, and in their back and forth, and then use that as part as the main chunk of the commercial.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It is, especially in your case.
You make it, the better. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the more personable you can make these ads, the better. And I know that, like with the ad that I got sent, it's just not very personal. And actually, my wife pointed out when she was listening to it that the guy doesn't even mention his name in it. Like it's a woman doing the ad read, but it doesn't mention his name. It doesn't mention really anything. I don't think it's very good. And the audio peaks in it a lot. Like her voice gets very staticky, like at the high points of it. So I'm like, ugh. I was like, I can't put this in my show. It's just.
So is this was it like a true advertisement or a sponsorship? Because my understanding is a sponsorship, the way that you read that copy, it would be entirely different than an in-segment advertisement, because you would be reading, you're just going along, and then all of a sudden you're talking about whatever product and how incredible it is, and man, I love using this thing, as opposed to a flat-out advertisement where you've got a solid, steady, scripted, and you're pitching their product. And there's a fine differential from what I've learned about what sponsorship is compared to advertising. What you're describing to me sounds like what advertising is. Yeah,
when I talked to Nick, when I talked to, I want to say his name, Gelso, he was telling me that the ad that I was putting, that I was given, would be something that if I was going to put it in my show at all, it would have to be at the end, because otherwise it just sounds very cold, and I think you're right about it. A sponsorship versus an advertisement, and I agree because I just don't think that I don't think it's just setting itself up to fail by not having a landing page for people to go to, by having it being personable, by having me in it. I mean, it is my show, so I should be a part of that advertising process.
Right.
But yeah, I think that he was like, yeah, if it goes in anywhere, it would have to go at the very end of your show after your outro. And even then, I just don't feel really comfortable doing that. So as much as I hate to turn away, $5 an episode for 6 episodes, it's just a difficult decision to make without looking into it a little bit different.
Have you looked into Shannon Cherry and any of the stuff that she's putting out? She's all about how to run your life on sponsorships.
Really?
Yeah, Shannon Cherry. I've picked up a couple of her podcasts. There's one that Craig Carpenter did with her on Modernpreneur. It's really fantastic. And she's the one who really drove home that idea of a true sponsorship should sound nothing like an advertisement. And it's just, you mention it in the flow of your daily life as if it's just part of what you're doing.
Right.
And they do that on radio, right? So, like, especially AM talk show.
Because I think ultimately, I spoke with this potential sponsor that I'm talking to. I spoke to him about some ideas that I had and he really liked them, about just kind of weaving his product into the conversation, as though because what sponsors want are the listener identifies with us as the host and wants to know what we do to, in my case, it's to live a happy, healthy life, a balanced life, and the sponsors are looking for us to articulate to our listeners how we do it, and part of how we do it is by using their products, or by
right.
Yeah, talking favorably about their products. So.
Now, I got a question. What's your guys' opinions of the authenticity of the use of those products?
Well, I think it should be authentic, and I think it should be in alignment with the mission of your podcast, whatever you take on as a sponsor. I think.
It's the exact same reason why, I don't know if I'll see myself sticking with this potential sponsor after this 2-week trial. It's like I'm putting my name on this. I want people to buy into me just as much as I want them to buy into whatever I'm selling. If there's not that marriage, if that connection doesn't work, it's not worth it.
Yeah, but what if that guy's a great HVAC guy? You should have him come over and fix your air conditioner, and if he shows up on time and he's personable and he's trustworthy, that's what you talk about on your podcast.
No, that's true.
That's what they do. Like, I mean, I listen to sports radio and they talk about Slingbox, and they'll come on and be like, "Oh man, I get to watch my sports even when I'm on the beach and do all this crazy stuff." And
yeah, it's about your personality and how your personality melds with the product. So.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, there's a huge. I mean, you can. I feel like you should be able to charge more for that. Just as you have, Connie, with your Wait, Brett, did you see the press kit that Connie put together?
No, I didn't see that.
I'll share it here.
I saw you guys talking about it just as I was messing around with mic issues.
I have to check my soup. I'll be right back. I'm listening.
Are you able to see that, Brett?
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great.
I know. It really is well put together.
For sure. 15 seconds. Yeah, that's excellent. Wow.
Yeah.
Really well done.
Now, did you put this together, Connie, or did you have someone else put it together?
I gave the information to my graphics people, and they put it together. Yeah. People that did my website.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they definitely did an amazing job there. Um, so going along with what I was saying earlier about the authenticity of the product, I mean, to me that's huge, right? Because it's a trust thing. Um, and if you have to be able to use the trust, and it has to be a good fit. Like I had one sponsor approach me. It was called well, I won't use the name, but I don't think it really applies to anybody here. The usage was it's like a phone system. Like if you call an 800 number and it says like press 1 for this and 2 for this and 3 for that. It's a phone system, but it's based in the cloud, and it's $12 a month, and it can go to any cell phone in the world, any phone number, which is really cool because you could have like your tech support here and your accounting over there, and but it sounds like you're in one building, and it's only $12 a month to get started, and that's full featured. But to me, I was like, I told the guy, I was like, honestly, I just don't see how this is a good fit, because the listeners that I do know that I have, obviously there's unknowns, there's people who listen to my show that I don't know, but I'm like, I just don't see how the majority of them would ever want to use this service, and this is something where it was an affiliate base, but had I gotten listeners to subscribe for 1 month at $12 a month with no contract, no long-term contract, I would have stood to make like $125 a sign up, which would have been amazing. Except I'm like, I just don't see it. It's not. I just don't feel like it's a good fit. I'm not an entrepreneur show, So it's difficult to make those decisions. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, I think you have to be able to talk about your product with passion. So.
Well, that's actually where it fell apart, because I was actually teetering on doing it, and I was like, hey, can you get me a list of like 4 or 5 customers that use your product that I could call up on Skype, and they'd be willing to talk about how awesome the product is and what great experience they had. And they just never got back to me, which I was actually, like I said, I was kind of happy about, because I wasn't really digging it, especially since it was an affiliate type thing, so I would have had to do all this work and then probably not gotten anything out of it. But as I was telling my wife, and as Nick had told me earlier today, he was, sponsors are a lot like the opposite sex, right? Nobody wants you until somebody wants you, and then everybody wants you. and that's the thing. So you're only as good as what somebody else wants. So at the same time, it's like, well, if I could work this deal out, at least then I could have a sponsor, and I have some pretty big episodes coming up with some pretty decent-sized guests. Like Lou Mangello is going to be on my show, and I don't know if does anybody here watch MasterChef Junior on Fox? No. Oh, well, one of the kids that's on the show is going to be on my show in like next week.
Nice.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and he's in the top 8 right now, or top 6 right now. So I'm actually going to he lives in West Deptford, New Jersey, so he lives around the corner from me, and I contacted him and his mom, and they got back to me and invited me to they're doing a big viewing party at his high school or middle school. So yeah, so it's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna do the interview before the viewing party, and it's gonna be awesome. But I guess it's as good a time as any to get a sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. Maybe you should start reaching out. Well, maybe we could set some goals, because I have to jump off here, but maybe we could set some goals and then reconvene. I'm going to close my deal. I'm going to figure out a way to close my deal with my guy.
I think you should. I think if he thinks that you're not far off, then I would do it. Whatever he...
Yeah. You guys have given me some inspiration, so I'm going to take my meager little numbers and try to see what I can do with them. And he likes my podcast, so I'm just going to go for it.
So what kind of goal do you want to set?
Let's see. Well, mine is to close my deal. I'm happy with that.
That'd be big.
That'd be big.
All right. So you guys want maybe reconvene in like 2 weeks?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Let's see where we are.
All
Yeah.
right.
What's 2
good.
weeks from now? Let me see.
That's a good
'Cause my
question.
It's the
weekend-
20th.
Yeah, my weekends are like the time, like are my most jam packed with doing the blog stuff. So
Yeah.
the 21st. Yeah,
The
I can tell you the 21st I won't be able to make it.
No.
I'm out. Gina and I are presenting at a friend of ours mastermind that weekend, so we will not be here.
All right, how about the 28th?
For me, it's gonna be a weeknight. Believe it or not, that'll be my best.
Is weeknights
chance.
better? Is weeknights better for you, Connie?
It depends. Yeah, not Wednesdays, not Mondays.
All right, how about we shoot for a Tuesday in like 2 to 3 weeks?
Okay. Yeah, let's just try. We can try.
Sure.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll set it up for the 24th.
All right. See how that goes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Joe, for setting this.
No
up.
problem. I wish more people would have
This is
showed
awesome.
up, but we had a
Yeah,
good
it's
time.
nice. fun.
You guys.
Definitely learned.
Yeah, same to you guys.
Yeah.
All right, well, everybody enjoy the rest of their
Right.
weekend here.
Take care.
You too.
Yes.
Take care.
See you.
See you guys.
Bye.